put out a seek command.
Started.
Ah, here we go. Garoya. Okay, e4. What could we play here? I played a Sicilian. Well, how about a classical Sicilian? I did a con Sicilian last time. And we're getting the main line here with the d4, open Sicilian, and knight f6 attacking the e-pawn. And then knight to c6, the classical Sicilian. Just bring the knight out right away. No messing around with the pawns anymore. That's the Najdorf, to play the pawn to a6 move. And that's the most common reply, and a good one. It's threatens to take the knight and mess up the pawn structure, and if you do this, leaves a weakness on d6. So it's one of the issues here. So there are different ways to play from here. What's he going for? He might be going for kingside castling. I don't have to unpin that knight right away. I can develop my bishop and see. Yeah, he is going for kingside castling. So there might be some pressure on this pawn. Let's get an a6 now. And then play bishop to e7. Okay, so what is White's plan here? You know, White can continue with f4. White can lift the queen up, bring the rooks to the center. A4. Okay, so that stops me from playing b5. That's kind of an interesting way to play. Maybe I'll push it all the way to a5 and clamp down. In this setup, yeah, I wasn't intending necessarily to play b5 because I've already put the bishop over here on d7, so pawn to b5 doesn't have the usual advantages. Looks like he is preparing to push the f-pawn forward by moving his king to the side. Let's go ahead and get castled anyway, and then think about this. So I can push the e-pawn forward, hit the knight and the pawn at the same time. And sometimes that's
Server
useful.
Announcement.
Because that prevents him from pushing the pawn forward. He has to move the knight. He could take. Let's see, so e4, knight takes knight, bishop takes. And then he could play f5, kind of locking out this diagonal. My bishop's over here, leaves me with the backwards pawn. I could take first, and then play e5. Okay, so he did take with the queen. So, yeah, e5 here. Can't take here. Can't come in this way. So I'm guessing he will take the pawn. But he could take twice now. That's the problem. Okay, so other options. I could move the knight and force a trade, or I could just kick the bishop. Let's kick the bishop. Yeah, there's no great tempo move with the knight. Knight here, here. I guess knight to d5 is playable. If bishop takes bishop, I have knight takes bishop. But I'm not sure I want to play that. Let's see, there is, maybe I can play d5. Is that possible? d5, pawn takes, knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes. Yeah, it loses a pawn. Okay, let's get the bishop out to c6. Put it on this good diagonal here, and maybe prepare to play d5. He puts his bishop there. Yeah, so he's countering that idea. Okay, let's lift up the queen so I can bring a rook over. Where is a good square for the queen? Maybe over here. Queen on c7. That would support the idea of e5 once again, and allow me to put a rook opposite his queen. Yeah, pretty interesting struggle here so far. I wonder if he had a connection problem himself, because his time hasn't gone down that much, but it seemed like he spent a long time on move 11. But his clock doesn't reflect that. But he is thinking now, I guess. And let's see, this move is not so obvious, so a reasonable time to think. This pawn structure, the pawns control the squares b5 and d5, so the queen can sit here on c7 without being harassed by the knight. That's kind of a key point here. And when I do play, if I do play e5, it gives away the d5 square. So I'd have to be careful about that. Okay, let's back up a move, see how long. Yeah, 8 minutes to 6. Okay, so he played that move instantly. Played all his moves instantly up to this point, except that there was that one long delay previously. Okay, so he went ahead with e5. So here I could play knight to d5. But let's take the pawn first. So I'm not left with this loose pawn on d6. And he needs to take back, right? His queen is hanging. He can't throw in bishop takes bishop or anything. There's no checks. So now I have knight to d5. Yeah, if he plays knight takes knight, I can take back with the bishop. Actually, it's a problem, isn't it? Let's think about it. Knight takes knight, bishop takes bishop. I can take his bishop. So, knight here and knight takes knight, bishop takes knight is, yeah, it's not really working out that well. The problem is I don't get that snapback I'm looking for. I'm looking for knight to d5 to take back on e7 there, and if he takes off the knight first and then takes off the bishop, and then at the end he takes this bishop, it doesn't work out well for me. So let's bring a rook into the game. That would help. Yeah, I wonder. I was just thinking maybe you could actually take the knight. Pawn takes knight, rook takes queen, pawn takes bishop. It's just 2 pieces for the queen, and I can take his bishop, and he's not queening because my rook is guarding that square and my bishop. Yeah, so I guess he can't. He really has to do something about the queen. Okay, so he just moves the queen aside. So now I can play knight to... no, I still have a problem, right? This bishop is pinned here. Let's see. Knight to d5, knight takes knight. You play pawn takes knight, hitting the queen. And the queen moves and then I take the bishop. So I think this does work. If he plays bishop takes bishop, I'm just going to take back with the knight. And I think I don't have many problems after that. I think my position is fine. I have to watch out for the weakness on f7. Maybe I should take with the queen. Bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop. Knight takes knight, bishop takes knight, bishop takes, rook takes. Everything's equal. And if he tries knight takes knight, I'm planning pawn takes knight, hitting the queen. And he has to react to that. If he takes with the bishop, then I can take back with the rook. And he could take here. Actually, that's complicated. Yeah, there's still this annoying pin on my bishop here. So he just goes there first. Okay, so this is the simpler way of playing it, and should be okay for me. But I wonder if there was some tricky way that white had there. We can look at that in the postmortem. Yeah, so it looks like a lot of minor pieces will come off here, all of them. But it seems like after all the exchanges, my pieces are pretty active here. Got pressure on the E pawn, and my my pawns are all defended. F pawn is defended. The B pawn is defended. His only piece that's out is the queen. I can double my rooks. So I kind of like this. And he just has the weaker pawn structure. That often happens in the Sicilian, that if black survives the tactics, the endgame is good for black because he has the better pawn structure. That's a good move. He's hitting f7 here and defending the E pawn. So e5. Let's bring my queen over. I'm attacking e5 again. Let's see. I need to defend f7 before I get to yeah. For example, I can't really take on c2 here, although I would like to, because he would take on f7. So maybe rook f8. Maybe it's better though. Rook to e8 to e7 would be maybe a better, or d8 to d7 would be a better way of defending. More active to have this rook defending f7 and also open on the open e file. Okay, I have to watch my time now, down to 3 minutes. So rook d7, queen a5 might be an idea here. And what is black or white? What is white going to play? He could try and increase his pressure on the f pawn, but yeah, that was my plan. So I've got 2 pieces on the f pawn now, and 2 pieces on the e pawn, and so he can't double the rooks. So that would just give up the e pawn. Ah, he can play that. So what's this? I can chase the queen away, right? And then just grab the c pawn. Okay, he went for queen g3. Yeah, let's take here. And also, now I can threaten rook to c1. He doubles there, but I've got it adequately defended. Let's get off one pair of rooks.
White resigns.
Okay, he gave up. Well, anyway, we will check that out in the postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.